What did our whole international start with?
5 locals. Is that what you're saying?
No, it started, yeah, 5 locals came together, but our international office and stuff, bro, there wasn't even an office. It was regular iron workers are like, we had enough. We had enough of being exploited. They had a box with files in it. Now look, that was in 1896. They were working all day long, and back then, 1896, there was no 8-hour workday yet. It was 10 hours plus. It was sun up to sundown. And then they were taking their extra time in their life to organize this international union, bro. Who's employing them? Who's employing them?
Well, then let's look further. That
When-
company that got
Hold on, let
outsourced.
me finish this point. When you file your paperwork, even on a union job, right? Every company you work for, you gotta fill out all your forms, your tax forms, you gotta show your ID. You have an I-9 form. You gotta verify who you are. Don't these employers who are hiring these undocumented workers have to do that too? Right? And then we direct our hate and our disdain at that immigrant who can't go anywhere because he's afraid to death of he's scared to death of getting deported. Who can he report his injustice to? That employer's got him under the thumb. You want to stop that immigration problem? You stop it at the source. You stop it right at the employer. If you get caught hiring undocumented workers, boom, $500,000 fine for each one. First offense.
Isn't the source also at the border too?
No, bro.
I'm asking a question.
Damn it! I know. I'm gonna tell you.
I'm not telling you. I'm just asking a question.
It's not the Mexicans.
The vast,
fault for wanting to work.
listen, do people cross the border every day?
Yeah.
Is it a problem? Absolutely.
I'm not saying
But-
one's not. No, I'm saying both are.
The vast majority of undocumented immigrants in this country came over by legal means.
Yeah, visas and stuff.
Visas, work visas, vacation visas, education visas.
Study.
Yeah. And then they overstayed. Why did they overstay? Because their employer kept employing them beyond that time. You see the theme here? It's the employer. The employer knows the law. That immigrant doesn't know the law. They're fleeing desperation and hoping for opportunity. If you was in the same situation, would you stay? Or would you go? I'd go seek opportunity. That's what humans do. When it's bad here and it's good there, I'm gonna go there. Right? Just like in your jobs. You go to a job, you're on a shitty job, and you hear about an opportunity to go to this good job, guess what? I'm going to that good job. It's human nature.
So
They don't know the laws. That immigrant does not know the laws. That employer does, though. That employer knows psychology, too, and he knows that he can exploit that desperation. They can't go nowhere. They got nowhere to go. That's where the problem is. The problem is with the employers. They should get, it should be a $500,000, it should be
at minimum.
a minimum of $500,000 fine for every time they hire an
You know
undocumented
why?
immigrant.
Because how much did they make
And then-
off of one worker?
Yeah, and then if they get a second offense, they should be no longer allowed to operate a business of any kind ever again. That you do that, you solve the immigration
So what
problems like
happens to the
that.
worker then? When all that goes down there. So I'm not saying you're wrong or anything, like, I agree with that. So all that goes down.
Well, let's-
What happens to the worker? Because there's people that,
Let's give them a pathway to citizenship. Let's give
Well,
them the opportunity to stay.
but okay, I'm not saying that's wrong, but there's people already in line before when they came over here.
I'll
So
bet
now
you-
you got somebody up here.
I'll bet you any amount of money, most of those people are in that same line. The people that are here undocumented
Yeah.
are already in that same line.
What if they're not though? Do you?
If they're not,
All right. Well,
yeah.
you're already here. So
There's
what's
got
going on?
obviously
Go
we
by
understand
the
that there has to be a process. Like back in the old days, people come into Ellis Island, right, sign in, and you just
Yeah.
come into the country, and then you eventually get your citizenship, right? There's got to be a process like that where we can do that, and I don't know at the end of the day what that process will look like.
Because you can't just let anybody over because you don't know
No.
who it is or
Yeah.
what their intent.
But here's the rhetoric that you're told, right? All the news, we heard it all last election. Oh, military age men are coming over here. It's all military age men. What else is a military age man?
Worker.
A working age man. It's a working age man. They would look at me and say, oh, there's a military age man. He's in the union. Look at him. Get these guys all fired up. I'm a working man. See the rhetoric? See the hyperbole? Get you all scared to death? Oh my God, that immigrant, he's gotta be bad, he's an immigrant. No.
So then here. we can go
All the
to-
while the employer is, thank you, employer, for employing all these people. You're so great. You're so great. You're a business owner.
So
You're a
why are
business
these,
owner.
so now why are these people coming over here? Because there's no jobs, there's nothing in their country. But the people who go to their country are these big corporations, the multinationals, to set up plants to pay the people in that country
Less than what they pay us.
has less than what they're paying the immigrants here.
Yeah.
They're a worker, let's say in Bangladesh, who Nike, Adidas, all those textiles, you know how much your jumpsuits cost? $150, $200, right? Those people make $110 a month for 12 to 16-hour days in their sweatshop making those suits. So these companies go overseas to exploit the labor as much over there.
You want to solve trade issues and stuff? Here's a simple fix. We have a minimum wage in this country, right? Right. We're saying that we respect our people at least enough to pay them bare minimum, right? Why do we accept goods from countries that don't at least meet that? Right? We have EPA standards, right? We want to take care of our rivers, our air, our water, and all that kind of stuff. Some people will say that's a pesky regulation, right? Having clean air and clean water is a pesky regulation. Why do we accept goods from countries that don't at least meet our EPA standards, right? It's because the laws are designed to circumvent that. They get back in when the great mass exodus of all these corporations to overseas happened, so they could circumvent all that.
They call like fair trade, isn't that like?
NAFTA was a big part of it. NAFTA was just North American.
No, what's it called?
The
Like, if you get a
Trans-Pacific
coffee, if you get
The
coffee.
TPP was a big one back. The Trans-Pacific Partnership they were trying to do, where China and Japan and all those countries. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but the gist of it is it's to screw the worker, y'all.